Podcast doesn't exist. Welcome to episode 2, everyone. Thank you for coming out. We're going to give you some claps for being out here. If you're at episode 1, thank you for returning. If you weren't at episode 1, perfect. Welcome to episode 1 for you. This is episode 1A, you know? Yeah, a lot of comments said the audio was too low at last episode. So as a squad, we kind of had a meeting. We talked it over. We discussed it, and we decided officially that we are going to turn it up for this episode. So if you worry about the sound, we've come to the conclusion that we are turning it up this episode. If it's too loud, we can turn it right back down. If you guys like not being able to hear us and you prefer that better, we might release a second version of the podcast just for people who don't like a loud, like a soft, quiet ASMR type, take you to bed. That's an option too moving forward. Maybe a Patreon in the future. We could have a loud and quiet podcast. But for now, we're doing I'd say, what are we looking for, Jack? What are we looking for on the sound? We're doing like a moderate levels. Did that make any sense? What I'm asking?
I mean, you shouldn't have to crank your phone up to 100% to be able to hear the podcast. I agree, but we're definitely not putting out multiple volume versions.
It's a thought moving forward, but that's another meeting that we're gonna have after that episode.
So for the Patreon, we're gonna record 2 different versions. We're gonna have the regular volume, and then we're gonna do the quiet volume.
Yeah,
and they're gonna be 2 completely different episodes.
Could be not. We could surprise people, but as you can see, we got the sick new background on the back. Give it up for Jack for doing that shit. Podcast is coming around nice, guys. I mean, it took us 3 weeks. We got this all together. We had this space 3 days before it, so we're here. It's honestly a miracle. But yeah, first week of games, first 3 days of games. What do you guys think? Did it pretty well? What do you think, Mitch? Good first 3 days?
For Braves fans, absolutely horrible. For Yankees fans, time of your life. For Marlins fans, guys, you guys are gonna win the NL East. 3 walk-offs, 2 walk-offs. That is the best time of
I kind of doubt there's that many Marlins fans listening, but if there are,
all 6 of you,
drop it in the comments, dude. Marlins, man, come on the podcast. Yeah, it's been a tough 4 games for the Braves. I mean, if you look at it on paper, we are the worst team in baseball. But the thing is, early in the season in baseball, like you watch the first week and you already make these conclusions about the whole year because you're stupid. And our brains just don't work. They truly don't matter. I would argue that the Braves 0-4 worst record in the league going into a series against the best team of all time is actually good. I would say we won that series just because, but listen, the Padres, they're 4-0. Manny Machado got injured.
And then he came back and made a sick play on defense.
Yeah, but he got injured early on. That hurts you. You know he's going to be banged up all year. He's getting a little older. Like, Braves didn't get one injury. Schwellenbach pitched well. That's what you do. As a fan right now, first few games of the season, first week, you just take little nuggets, like little crumbs of positive or negative. Like, if your team's 3-0 right now, but your best player got hurt, I'd say that's a tough week. And there's a lot of teams who've had tough weeks. For example, Scherzer, you're a Blue Jays fan. What's the Blue Jays right now? What's their record?
I think they're 1-2.
Yeah, Blue Jays are 2-2 right now. So you'd think, oh yeah, we're doing better than the Braves. You know, we started off good. Yeah, guess what? Scherzer's thumb flamed up, like we said. Apparently, his thumb is connected to his.
He said, going into the season, I have a thumb issue, and if it goes haywire, then my whole body is fucked.
Okay, so.
He says he has a lat injury, but we know in reality, because of what he said in spring training, that it's actually his thumb.
It's the thumb. The thumb is connected. So his thumb injury, now he has to overcompensate for the bad thumb, put extra stress on his lat, so he's on the 15-day IL. And if you're a Blue Jays fan, yeah, we're 2-2, better than 0-4. But one of the guys we were really relying on to have a bounce back season and let us compete, he's injured. That's bad. The Nationals, that's a team. They're 1-2, right? They played 3-game series. They're 1-2. However, that start they got out of Mackenzie Gore, if you're a Nats fan, you're like, that's a series win for me.
You have James Wood, you have C.J. Abrams. You've really been waiting on Mackenzie Gore to make that Soto trade worth it.
Well, just ignore the stats of C.J. Abrams, Dylan Cruz, who is their big prospect, who a lot of people are expecting to be Rookie of the Year, and did I say James Wood? C.J. Abrams, James Wood, and Dylan Cruz all had I think a very poor first series, but Mackenzie Gore What do you have?
Basically, he was Bob Gibson. 13 strikeouts. He allowed one base runner. It was Kyle Schwarber. For whatever reason, Schwarber was like, I'm a speed guy now. Got caught stealing. Faced the minimum. Didn't walk a batter. Was the first pitcher since Bob Gibson to have that stat line. And him and Gibson are the only pitchers to ever have 13 Ks, no walks, 1 hit allowed.
So there you go. And he was mid last year. Now he's sick. And what his problem last year, according to Mitchell, these notes that are coming in clutch, he walked everybody.
Terrible. Led the league in wild pitches.
Led the league in wild pitches, walked everybody. Last game, how many did he walk?
0.
0. So if you're a Nats fan, you're 1-2. Well, guess what? I'm taking it as a win. If you're a freaking Reds fan and your manager has to get emergency dental surgery on opening day, Terry Francona. If you've been following the Reds, Terry Francona came out of retirement for the second time, I believe. At least the second time. He's taken a lot of breaks for family and health reasons throughout the years. I think he retired after 2023, officially, this is it, on the Guardians. But he came out of retirement after last year. I'm coming back to the Reds. One last job. I'm going to bring these like fun group of guys together. They need a leader. I'm going to come in. I'm going to lead a victory. Opening day, emergency dental surgery for the old skipper. That fucking hurts if you're a Reds fan, especially the Reds didn't do that good either. What's their record early on?
They lost 2 games to the Giants.
There you go. And your manager has a dental surgery. Maybe Terry, it was though. How much gum did that guy chew? A whole fucking bucket of gum a game?
A bucket a game, I think, is
a bucket a game of gum. That's what happens to you guys. Be careful out there. You know, a lot of people think, you know what? I'm going to start chewing gum. I don't want to be doing tobacco products. It's bad for me. I don't want to be smoking cigs in the dugout. I'm going to do the safe option. Gum. No. Gum is bad for you too. Just stick to Zyn. Stick to cigs. Do tobacco. It's cooler than gum. You don't want to get dental surgery. That other stuff, that doesn't lead to dental issues at all. The Red Sox. That's a team that you really... That's a team that doesn't have a good record right now. They are 1-3 to the Rangers. Tough opponent. We'll give them that. But more importantly, when your new DH, the heralded hitter only, Rafael Devers, has an historically bad start to the season. If you haven't been paying attention, Rafael Devers, third baseman / DH for the Red Sox, so far this season, 0 for 16, 12 strikeouts. So what's that strikeout percentage? I'm not good at math. If you strike out 12 times in 16 at-bats, to me that means you're striking out at least 70% of the time, which would be an MLB record. He did break the MLB record. He struck out 10 times in his first 3 games. No one in history has done that. And the thing is, like, you could strike out 30 times in a row to start the season. If you're going to... It doesn't matter. Like, you can get over that. The issue here is that you're in Boston with the media. Devers has always been a darling in Boston. They love Devers forever. Fun, goofy guy. They call him Raffy Scoops. And he loves ice cream. He's just lovable. He's smiling, and he just hits, dude. The guy just fucking hits. And then this year he comes out. They get Bregman. He says, actually, I know we just signed a third baseman. I'm the third baseman. No. I'm the third baseman. Now everyone turns on him in the media. They don't like him. And then to start off your season 0 for 16 for 12 strikeouts when everyone's already on your ass with some other shit, mentally, that's got to fuck with you. I mean, Mitchell, you looked into it a little bit. Is like, what's going on with Devies?
So, naturally, I thought he was protesting getting moved to the DH. I thought he was saying, Boston, I can't hit if I'm not on the field.
It's a good move. I mean, think about that is a smart move. Like, listen, I want to play third base. No, you're DH. Well, all right, you think
I can't hit?
Yeah, you say I can only hit. Guess what? I can't fucking hit. So you better put me at third base.
But it seems like he's had a shoulder issue. He didn't start spring training on time. He only got into 5 games, 15 at bats. When he was supposed to debut in spring training, he actually told Alex Cora, the manager for the Red Sox, not feeling it today. The shoulder's still bothering me. So he didn't get that ramp up that you would expect a batter to have in spring training, and he was facing guys like DeGrom on the Rangers. So the combination of that's going to be tough.
Yeah. I mean, Devers, this would never concern me with a guy like Devers, someone as good as Devers, to go 0 for 16, 12 strikeouts. Yeah, that's insanely bad, but like that happens. It's just the accumulation, because that's not a word, whatever. What is the word?
Accumulation.
Accumulation, thank you. Accumulation of you doing bad. The first time in your career, people hating you. Now people are really hating you. Now the tweets are coming, because he's reading the tweets. I mean, the tweets are brutal. I mean, it's stat after stat. Devers sucks. Devers washed. Trade him. It's tough. So, I mean, Red Sox, I'm putting you in the bad start to the season category. The Orioles. That's a team we kind of were a little tough on early on. Said, what'd you do for me lately, Mr. New Ownership? You didn't spend for jack crap. They did because they got Tyler O'Neill. I think we forgot that guy just hits a home run every opening day. Every year we just forget that's a story, but it happened again. This guy's hit a home run on opening day 6 years in a row. Like that makes no sense. Like I guess he set the record last year with 5 in a row. Comes back this year, new team, playing in his home country, Canada. He hits another one for 6 years in a row. That's got to be a good sign if you're an Orioles fan. Tomoyuki, I'd say a solid outing. All right. Best pitcher in Japan last year. No one's talking about him. Everyone wants to talk about Roki. We'll get to Roki. He's crying on the mound. While this guy who signed for $13 million, you signed him for less than Alex Cobb. He's the best pitcher in Japan last year. Comes up, a little shaky first inning. Gave up 2 runs. Little shaky. Does a solid. Goes 5 innings. I think 4 innings. Gave up 2 runs. Why am I acting like that was a good outing? That's not a good outing.
Your first outing in the bigs, you end with a 4.5 ERA. That's solid.
I would say the reason why I say it's solid is because I didn't watch the game. I was driving, but I saw the stats and I watched the first inning because I'll be honest, I bet a lot of money that Tomoyuki would dominate today, and he didn't. But that first inning, he had a bad first inning, gave up 2 runs. Nervous. We get it. First time in the MLB, came back solid. I'm still high on Tomoyuki. I'm high on the Orioles. Great first start to the season. Tigers. That's a team that's only bad. I mean, you went 0-3. Granted, against the Dodgers, you went 0-3, and Gleyber Torres hurts his rib while hitting a home run. What the fuck? He hit a home run and hurt his rib?
Homers in the major leagues is a dangerous thing now.
Who else did it?
Nick Gonzalez fractured his toe. No, fractured his ankle. So if you're hitting homers like the Yankees better watch out.
Fuck.
One of these days, Aaron Judge is going to park one over the fence.
I mean, the Yankees have
quad injury.
15 home runs in 3 days, and yet they haven't had an injury on a home run. That's rare these days. We have 2 guys getting injured on home runs in the first 4 days of the season. That's probably a record. I'd say send that one up to Buster Only or Sarah Langs. Look that up in the old data. How many guys have gotten injured on home runs in the first week of the season? What's the record? I would say 2025 is unprecedented in that category. I also want to talk about this. I mean, just as a league as a whole, the balls are juiced for sure. I mean, every year the balls are either juiced. If you follow MLB closely or even not even closely, every year the people online, they come up with a conclusion, all right? Either Manfred fucking beefed up the balls, made home runs coming. Manfred, he made the balls easy to hit home runs, more action. Balls are coming out of the park. Or the balls are dead. Manfred, he's fucking tired of home runs. He wants to pay pitchers, or he wants to pay batters less so the balls don't work and they don't go as far. Guess what? Early this season, last March, there was 1.13 home runs per game and 5 runs a game. So far this March, that's funny that it's written this March. There's 3 days in March. I guess March is always 3 days. Sorry. So a regular March, you'd expect 1.13 home runs per game. This March so far, 1.22 home runs per game. And it's probably gone up because that was from a day or 2 ago, right?
Yeah. And the Yankees, they just keep hitting
the
homers.
Yankees hit 15 in 3 days. So I would say that's going up. So I'm on juice ball watch. All right. Manfred, I'm looking at you. I know I had your back in that last video. But if you're fucking with the balls again, buddy, I'm making another video and I'm going to correct that.
And we're keeping the money from the last video from MLB.
Yeah, a lot of people say we made some MLB propaganda, and that I'm bought by MLB. I'm big MLB, and that I'm sticking up for Rob Manfred. In reality, I just like the pitch clock, dude. I just fucking like the pitch clock. I mean, it's amazing. You ever go back and watch like a 2021 game?
Can't believe it.
It's-
I'm like, what was I thinking?
All right. Because I was like that too. In 2021, 2022, it's like, we don't need a pitch clock, dude. It's going to save a couple minutes, man. It's not even a big deal. And then you look back at those games, it's like, dude, what the fuck were we watching? And now you watch it now, it's so much better. Thank God for Rob Manfred. Give it up for Rob Manfred. I love Rob. I can't deny it. I love Rob Manfred. I really do. I think he's cute. I saw he is cute, man. He's got like a nice, cool little gap in his teeth. He smiles.
But he got rid of it. The public pressure was too much for him.
Well, yeah, he's seeing himself on camera for the first time every time, and everyone's making, the guy's the most hated guy in the world. Let's fix my teeth. Like, that's an easy cheap shot at me. Let me at least fix my teeth. I know everyone hates me up for other reasons, but I was about to say about Rob Manfred. Oh, there was an interview right before opening day, and I don't know, we had this interview pulled up, but if you could find it somehow, maybe we'll drop a link or we'll put it on screen. But Colin Cowherd is doing an interview with Rob Manfred going into the season, like right before opening day. Manfred, I think every year will go on a media tour, just talk about MLB, and Colin Cowherd's interviewing Rob Manfred, and he opens up the interview like, "Welcome, Rob Manfred," and goes, "Man, baseball's hot, man. This sport is amazing. Everyone's loving it. Baseball." So he starts praising baseball off the bat, and you can just see it on Manfred's face. I've never seen a man just glow up. Like the smile, he's just not used to compliments. He's been shit on for so many years. This interview, you could see he looks like a little kid in a candy store, just giddy with excitement from this compliment. Because you know what? Us as men, we don't get complimented enough. Right, Mitchell? Doesn't
Yeah, no, I don't remember a comment that has made me light up that way.
exactly, man. We don't get complimented. Girls suck, boys rule. We're having Andrew Tate on next episode, by the way. But back to baseball. Speaking of juice balls, Aaron Judge is on pace for 216 home runs this year. So that's not new, but 4 home runs in 3 games. And he's not even using the torpedo bat. I wish that would be a shocker, but yeah, Aaron Judge hits home runs. You've heard of that. It still happens. If he stays healthy, I think you think he'd go for 70?
Oh yeah. We've got the torpedo bat on the screen now. This is a weird looking bat. What were your thoughts on it?
The torpedo bat? Oh, we're getting to the torpedo bat. All right, so if you guys don't know that the torpedo bat, I mean, everyone knows. It's actually crazy when something comes like this, because we follow baseball so closely, like every day, like, we get a viral baseball tweet, but like this shit has just transcended baseball into like media, where my mom is texting me like, what's going on with the torpedo bat? Everyone wants to know about the torpedo bat, and we got it. We got it for you. Little rundown on the torpedo bat, guys. All right, the Yankees just broke every offensive milestone in the book using a very suspicious looking bat. Actually using very suspicious looking bats. All right. Fans are calling it cheating. One MLB pitcher just came out against them saying one MLB pitcher came out saying they're only using them, only allowed to use them because the Yankees are the ones using them. The question is now, is MLB going to have to ban these things? I don't think MLB is going to have to ban them, but I think there's probably a good chance with the amount of attention that they're going to probably maybe like do like a probe, like an investigation on these bats just to come back and say they're fine. But like there's a lot of people wondering or asking whether this is legal or it should be illegal and whatnot. Anyway, the rundown on the bats, where they came from. They were designed by an MIT scientist. All right. This guy studied the Yankees, found a lot of them never hit the ball in the sweet spot. He basically was like, let me look at the data. I'm a data dork. Turns out you guys can't fucking hit baseballs. You suck at hitting baseballs. I went to MIT. I could fix that. So he made something called the torpedo bat. All right. The Yankees started using these bats in spring training, and they're working. All right. Austin Wells last year, it took him 60 games to hit 6 home runs last season. He hit 6 home runs in spring training alone. That's 6 home runs in 16 games. Cody Bellinger hit 4 home runs in spring. All right. Had an OPS over 1,200. Paul Goldschmidt started using one. He hit 3 bombs and had an OPS over 1,000. Anthony Volpe hit 4 bombs in spring. And those 4 players, along with Jazz Chisholm, are the 5 currently using the torpedo bat, at least on the Yankees. All right. They have 5 players using this weird, I don't know what, a torpedo bat, a weird shaped bat, all right? And in 2 games, the first 2 games of the season, all 5 of them using this torpedo bat hit a home run. Just took 2 games. Every single one of them hit a home run, all right? 4 out of the 5 best hitters on the Yankees right now are using the torpedo bat. As a team, they hit 9 home runs in 1 game. That is 1 home run away from an MLB record. 9 home runs in 1 game as a team. They hit 13 home runs in 2 games, have 15 home runs as a team. They hit 13 home runs in 2 days. I think I already said that, Mitchell.
I think you did.
Okay, well, you're supposed to be correcting me, dude. Anyway, a lot of people think this shit should be illegal, right? Right now, 100%, just to clarify, 100% this is illegal, right? The thickest part of the bat is 2.61. The thickest part of the bat is 2.61 inches in diameter, all right? So that's within MLB regulations. MLB already saw these bats going into the season. MLB approved these bats before opening day. In fact, at least one player not on the Yankees we know is already using this bat on the Twins. We know the Braves. This just came out. The Braves have already put in an order for the bat. The Braves are trying to get the bats right away. Everyone in the league is trying to find these bats. And what I read, these bats have actually been around for a while. The past few years, a lot of Yankees players, like I've been using them for a few years in spring training, in practice. I've seen them. It's not, I wouldn't say it's specifically a Yankees thing, but it's most prevalent by the Yankees because the guy who created it worked for the Yankees. But they've been around for a while. They just haven't been used in MLB games to our knowledge. I wouldn't even be surprised if they have been used in MLB games. But this is the first time we've seen them come out, right? So now the Yankees are using them. Basically, the technology is this guy, this MIT scientist, right? He moved the thickest part of the bat, the thickest, most dense part of the bat, known as the sweet spot. You might have heard of the sweet spot, closer to the handle. So if you're a guy who hits a lot of balls, on the handle, in theory, you will not be hitting it on the handle. You will now be hitting it on the sweet spot, leading to harder hits, more exit velocity, more home runs, all that good jazz. The question now is MLB going to have to ban this shit? What do you think, Mitch?
It's the Yankees. They can't ban it. If it was like, the Braves or the Astros, bam, banned.
Oh, my God. If the Astros were using this shit. Actually, no, Rob Manfred's in charge. If the Astros probably been using this shit for years, but they've been covering it up with holograms. And that was funny, I thought.
I'm curious to know how it affects other teams because the data used to make the bat was exclusively the Yankees.
Well, every team has that data available to them. But I'm actually curious to know, Jack, as a non-baseball fan, what is your takeaway on the torpedo bats? Have you been seeing this shit?
I think it's weird to not have one standard like league bat, just because it's like an obstacle that everybody should have to work around.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you're hitting him properly, then you shouldn't need the torpedo bat.
Right? Like if you went back and restarted baseball, that would be kind of something they might do. Like everyone has to use the same bat, guys. It's not fair. But you played hockey. Everyone uses different length sticks. You want to do that? I mean, Aaron Judge is going to use the same bat as Altuve. One of them 6'7", the other one's 5'3". Like you need different size bats at the end of the day.
Yeah, I guess a lot of sports have different size bats, different size pads.
Debunked you, dude. You don't know shit about baseball. You got debunked.
There's this, I'm going to pull it up. There's this tweet by a Twitter user called Sunshine EVVN, and she went through the effort of comparing where the sweet spot was moved from. And on this graphic, it's minuscule, but she ran the numbers, and according to her, I'm trusting her, she said that if you hit the sweet spot on a regular, or like where the new sweet spot would be on a regular bat, you'd get like a 94 mile an hour exit velocity. Using the new bat, it goes up to 98.
So if you move the barrel down.
Just a little
on
bit.
a regular bat, it'd be off the handle.
Right.
However, so that's crazy, right? So what was the difference she had it broke down in WOBA, right?
Yeah, so it was a 292 WOBA with the regular bat using Jazz Chisholm's swing average. And then it was a 454 WOBA using the new bat with Jazz Chisholm's swing average.
So, I mean, that brings you up like 200 points. That's like an insane difference. But, I mean, at the end of the day, that's just calculating the difference between hitting it on the sweet spot and not. Like, the reality is with this stuff is, there's no way MLB would ever ban this because I don't think it's going to be that big. What happened was, the timeline of events, this was the second game of the season. Jazz Chisholm goes to the plate using his torpedo bat. Jazz is way more defined than the others. Based on where he hits the ball normally, I guess they moved his torpedo, further down or whatever. It just looks kind of crazier than the others. And then Michael Kay, the broadcaster for the Yankees, drops this nugget for the first time. Like, these are torpedo bats. They were designed by an MIT scientist using crazy data that you dumb people don't understand. and it's gonna make Jazz a better hitter. Then immediately, Jazz hits 3 home runs so far. I mean, immediately, the Yankees in general just hit 9 home runs in one game. Like right after that clip drops. This clip drops on Twitter. They got torpedo bats. Then immediately after that, they hit 9 home runs immediately. So every baseball fan or casual fan or regular guy is just putting that together. Oh, they got these new bats. And then 20 minutes later, they set the record for home runs in a game. That seems suspicious. That should be illegal.
I think the irony, though, is that Aaron Judge he's hit 4 homers already. He's on pace for 216 homers, right? He's come out and said, why would I use that bat? Why would I use it?
Why would I? And that's the thing. It's like, it's literally just moving like if you wanted to, like the biggest barrel you can have is 2.61 diameters, right? 6 inches in diameter. Don't look at me like that, all right? That's as big as your barrel can be, 2.61 inches in diameter. Apparently, according to this scientist, that a lot of MLB players, their bats aren't even that big. Like some guy will go up to the plate with a bat that's 2.41 inches in diameter. So like he's using a bat that is smaller than what MLB allows. So he could, in theory, just if he was smart, I guess, according to this guy, the scientist, he would just get a bigger bat because it's legal. A lot of guys, they probably don't know the rules, maybe. They're just using smaller bats, smaller barrels, and getting fucked for it. But there's also reasons why you would do that. Like if you have a smaller barrel, and I don't know physics, so this is going to sound stupid as shit. But if you have a smaller barrel, right, it's half the size as a torpedo, but the bat weighs the same, the mass and the density is, and you hit it hard, you should have more power because the bat will be more dense. The barrel's smaller, but its impact. You know what I'm saying? Logically. So there would be a reason, too, to have a smaller barrel. The Yankees are deciding to go big barrels and move them down on the hands.
I think at the end of the day, the whole reason they went through this is that their star shortstop of the future could not hit the barrel of a bat on a normal bat, and so they just had to move it down for him.
That's tough for Volpe. Yeah, he's getting roasted a lot. You need the little league big barrel bat to do good, bro. But it is crazy because if you do look at their spring training stats, every single one of these guys except Jazz had an insane spring training using these bats. So like spring training is not great for data, I guess, if you're going off spring training stats, but like the small sample size, which is even bigger than you have the small sample size, which is one series. But if you go all spring, like they have been raking with these bats. However, it's not just the Yankees have it. They have a guy in the Twins who has it. The entire league is going to start using them. I mean, if you're a guy who gets jammed a lot, it will help you. But if you're a guy, like some guys, they probably hit the ball off the end of the bat more often than not, right? Like, why don't they just have like a golf club bat? Those are probably coming too. We're just going to see a lot of extra bats.
Like really skinny up until the very end of the bat, and then it's just like a golf head club.
Yeah. That's where I hit the ball. Like wherever you hit the ball the most. I mean, that's the biggest takeaway that's crazy to me is that they have the data to know where you hit the ball on a bat most often. Like, I guess they have extremely high-tech cameras and everyone's putting that data in individually, but to know specifically where a guy is hitting the ball off the bat and then moving that barrel to that specific spot is pretty insane. But you got this pull up. This is not the weirdest bat of all time, right? They've been experimenting with bats forever. I actually want to look up the rule. I have the rule written down somewhere. Do you have that in the doc? What's like the official rule for a bat? It has to be wood. It can't be longer than how many inches? Like 42 inches?
42 inches is the max.
So you have a wooden bat. It has to be smooth. That was a distinction. The bat has to be smooth. It has to be wood. It can't be longer than how big?
42 inches.
42 inches. And the diameter of the barrel can't be bigger than 2.61. But I believe other than that, you're chilling. Like,
There's a rule on how deep the cup indentation can be. It can be no more than 1 1/4 inch.
Okay, so you can't be drilling like 4-inch holes in your bat from the top. Which, from my knowledge, the Yankees aren't doing that. But as long as your bat is wood, it's less than 42 inches, it's smooth, the barrel isn't bigger than 2.61, you can kind of like do whatever you want. Like, I will show you these pictures. Let me pull up these pictures of these like bats throughout the years that people have been trying to use. And I would love to know like if people came to the plate with these bats, which I think technically are not against the rules.
So this bottle bat, this guy Heaney Grow, it looks like he's about to step up to the plate for the Reds.
Yeah, it's a softball bat, which that is legal. Like that bat is 2.61 inches in diameter all the way around. Like you can go, a bat can be that long. It's just going to be heavy as fuck. Go to the next one. That one looks like just a plank of wood. That would not help anyone.
It has Nap Lajoie's name on it, double knob bat. So I'm pretty sure Nap was going to the plate.
Oh, the double knob.
With that double knob. I don't know what it did. Won in batting titles.
The double knob. So let's see someone. That's legal. That is legal in baseball. The crooked bat. That's legal in baseball. The
zebra bat.
The zebra bat. That's legal in baseball.
Jeff McNeil's famous no knob bat.
No knob bat. That's legal in baseball. Pencil. You can go with the pencil. You want to go bat with the pencil?
It's only sometimes legal.
Yeah, right.
And the torpedo bat, which we have been talking about.
So as you saw, all those bats are legal. Actually, the only bat that's not legal is that pencil bat, which I guess is only legal in certain times where MLB doesn't approve of it.
It's when like MLB Players Weekend, when they have the Little League like Classic tournament, MLB will be like, okay, now it's okay.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. All those bat distinctions we have, they do have that one rule where if it is a certain, like we have to approve the color. MLB wants to make sure you're not coming up with any crazy colors. That would be too bad. If you want to come up to the plate with a freaking torpedo or a curvy.
With the crooked bat, which side do you hit with?
I mean, shit, whatever you want, dude.
You probably want the rounded part facing the ball, so it gives you more time to hit the ball.
Yeah, you want the rounded ball so you can hit little curve balls at people. So when you hit the ball with the bat, it's like spinning like shit. Shortstop can't touch it.
I guess the defenders, the fielders have to figure out which side of the bat are they going to hit on, what's the spin going to be. And so the guy's just spinning the bat in his hand right before he swings.
Yeah. So, I mean, if all of those bats are legal, then the torpedo bat is definitely legal. I would venture to guess that when it's all said and done, the actual improvements that the Yankees are going to get are going to be pretty small. I'd say there's a lot of placebo involved with like a guy thinking like this is going to help me, and then it does help him. But at the end of the day, that barrel is really an average size barrel. It's just set a different place. I mean, it's going to be fascinating to see how many players adopt this so soon, because it seems like everyone's getting on board. Our Braves are getting on board, and I like that. So that's enough with the bats. But I like the bats. I'm going to try to get one over here.
Gonna take one to the cage, see how you do?
Let me get a fucking torpedo bat. I deserve it. I work hard. I got a softball game. We got season starting up pretty soon. If I come to the plate with a torpedo bat in a softball game, I might get some chirps, but balls in the stands, big guy. All right, now we got to talk about the Dodgers. I think I'm going to venture to guess there probably won't be an episode that we don't talk about the Dodgers.
I feel like you're going to have comments every now and then being like, why do they keep talking about the Dodgers? Why do everybody's talking about the Dodgers?
I don't know.
How can you not talk about the Dodgers?
I don't know. Maybe they have every good player in the fucking world on one team. An entire country on one team. Like, I know a lot of people don't like the Dodgers because they're so good. They hate the guy on top. And I like that. I sympathize with that notion. Real fans, like, fuck the Dodgers. But, like, as a fan of MLB at large, and this is my job, this is so, like, I do care about the overall health of the league. I think the Dodgers are great for baseball. And just as a fan who watches a ton of baseball, like, I watch the Dodgers probably as much as I watch the Braves, dude, to be honest. Like, you got to tune in because every day they have an ace starting. Every day they got a guy like Mookie Betts who's about to die, but he's still a beast. They got a guy like Freddie Freeman. Oh, he's injured. He's going to be he's a beast. I mean, the Dodgers are undefeated right now. Shocker. Anyone shocked?
I don't think they're ever going to lose this season.
They might not. They're 5-0. 5-0 already. Most teams only play 3 games. Dodgers said, no, we're just that good. We played 5 games already, and we won every single one of them. All right. They lead the league in runs. They lead the league in home runs. They have the most wins, the most WAR. They're undefeated. You might say, oh, yeah, no shit, they lead the league in those things. They played the most games. Shut up, dude. They're good. You're gonna tell me the
I
Dodgers
don't see
aren't
the
good?
Cubs on top of any of those.
The Cubs aren't on top because they had to play the Dodgers. That's why. All right, we talked shit about Freddie Freeman a little bit. We said, he's getting a little old. He's already got the oblique. Oh, old Freddie. What is he going to do? All right, comes out here. He hit 2 home runs. He's slugging .833, and he had a game-tying home run. Mookie Betts was on his deathbed, Mitchell. We laughed. We scoffed at the idea of Mookie Betts at opening day. Both of us, dude. We had a great time. He thinks he's going to play, a little fucking small bitch. He's 160 pounds. He's 160 pounds, this guy. He weighs less than me, which is crazy. And he hit 2 home runs. He's slugging over 1,200 on his deathbed. And the crazy thing about that is, we watched Mookie Betts in the home run derby last season, right? That was last season. He couldn't get the fucking ball out of the park, this guy. On a machine pitching, he couldn't hit it. He was out of breath. He couldn't hit a home run. He's so small, has no power. He loses 20 pounds because he can't eat, and he hits 2 home runs in 2 games.
2 home runs in a game where he's like a stick. I think of Mookie as someone who can't afford to lose weight, right?
No.
I'm sitting here laughing. I'm chuckling. I'm like, the Dodgers are going to lose games because these injured players are going to cost them games. Mookie Betts just homers. That's all he does. He's still an elite player, even though he couldn't eat for 2 weeks.
Dude, it's funny. If you want a good idea of how small Mookie Betts is, go look at the interview that Jared did with Mookie Betts. I was shocked because I've never seen Mookie Betts in person. I've met Jared a bunch of times. He's a big guy. He's jacked. Jared's pretty big. He's not as short as people think. He does wear lifts in his shoes. That's not talking shit. He admits it. But he fucking towers over Mookie Betts. He makes him look like a little kid. And that was before he lost 20 pounds. What was you got the timeline of his sickness?
Yeah, so 2 days before they leave for Tokyo, Mookie just gets sick. He's thrown up on the plane. They land. He's thinking, okay, I'm going to get through this flight, going to sleep a little bit, then I'm going to be fine. He's thrown up in Japan. They have to take him to the hospital. He gets 2 liters of IV.
Oh, he goes to the hospital in Japan?
In Tokyo. He got IVs in Tokyo.
So he was on the plane to Japan, dying, on foot, but we don't even know the sickness yet?
No, they never really gave a diagnosis. And so then after a day or 2 in Japan, the Dodgers are like, dude, you just got to go home.
Could you imagine Mookie Betts started a worldwide pandemic? We don't know what it is. He went to Tokyo. Now everyone's throwing up in Tokyo. They had to cancel the NPB.
We still don't know if he did or not.
Mookie Betts just canceled the NPB. Everyone in Japan is throwing up, and they all weigh 140 pounds now. Oh, my God.
So he comes home. He can't eat for the next, week and a half. He, even, a few days before opening day, he was saying he was struggling to eat. He goes through a bunch of tests. The tests say, you're fine. But he went from 175 when they started spring training down to 157 in, a week and a half. And then he just is playing.
So a week and a half, he loses 20 pounds. Doesn't know why. There's clips of him trying to take ground balls in Japan. He can't even breathe. Get him on the first flight home, comes back. But he's a Dodger, so what's going to happen? He's a Dodger. He's going to hit 2 home runs in the first week of the series. But there is one guy on the Dodgers who isn't so hot. And that is our friend, Roki Sasaki. All right, Roki Sasaki. In his debut at Dodger Stadium, has happened. It's his second start of the season. People are kind of questioning, is Roki Sasaki who we thought he is? He's crying on the mound. That's not funny. Don't laugh at a guy crying. All right, we've all cried. I don't know if you can hear the producer. He's laughing. Jack is watching a clip of Roki Sasaki in the dugout, just emotional after his dreams came true. He's been thinking about this moment since he was fucking 4 years old. Goes up, sucks, cries he's vulnerable in front of, and Jack, the producer, thinks it's hilarious. Let's laugh it up at Roki Sasaki. Everyone at home, laugh it up. Roki Sasaki sucks.
Wait, can I say something about Mookie real quick before we move on?
Yeah.
Episode 1, you said being fat makes you good at baseball. And Mookie Betts said, watch this, bitch.
Shit, dude. Mookie Betts said, hold up. Mookie Betts said, hold up, BDE.
Looking like a curved bat.
BDE's looking like a curved bat, dude. Dude, you're taking Mookie's side now, aren't you, Jack? All right. Laugh it up at poor Roki Sasaki. He's giving it his all, dude. All right, he had a bad outing. All right, his debut in Dodger Stadium, Sasaki only got 5 outs through 61 pitches. All right, out of 61 pitches, 32 of these pitches were balls. He walked 4 of the 12 batters he faced, okay? And I'd say he had a solid outing against the Cubs when it's all said and done. But if you saw it, that was shaky. Like, his shit looked nasty, but he walked the bases loaded. I don't have the stats in front of me, but like that was close to being a blow up.
Looking at like his strikes and balls, he threw 25 strikes in Japan on 56 pitches. So arguably worse.
Yeah. So he's wild as fuck. And there he is crying on the mound. Let me stick up for Roki real quick with crying, because you know us Western fucking tough fucking guys out west. You know, we don't show our emotions, dude. But it's a thing in Japan. Like in Japan, if you watch the Koshin, when a team loses, every single player cries. Like it's kind of weird if you don't cry. It's more in the baseball, like in America, there's no crying in baseball. It's a famous quote from a fucking movie that I've watched, but the girls movie, A League of Their Own. There's no crying in baseball. Tom Hanks. All right. But in Japan, there is definitely crying in baseball. They cry in baseball all the time in Japan. It's part of the culture. So I don't think Roki crying on the mound is as big of a deal as the American people. The Anglos are making it. All right. But just a rundown on Roki, because I feel like as Americans, we kind of had these expectations for Roki, which were a little unfair, right? Because at 20 years old, the first time we ever heard about Roki Sasaki, which was 2022, he was 20 years old in Japan. He threw a perfect game. During this perfect game, he threw 19 strikeouts, all right? 19 strikeouts in a game, which would be the second most in MLB history, was the same game he threw a perfect game. He struck out 13 batters in a row in that game, which would be an MLB record. So basically at 20 years old, he threw a perfect game, 19 strikeouts, striking out 13 in a row. Like that, on paper, is the best pitched game of all time in a professional setting. Obviously, it's not Major League Baseball, but if you did that in Major League Baseball, that would be the best pitched game of all time. All right, so he followed that up, that perfect game, 19 strikeouts. He came back 6 days later, pitched 8 more perfect innings before he got taken out of the game by his manager. So he had a perfect game. That's 17 perfect innings in a row. On that second perfect game, which was 8 innings perfect game, not a full perfect game where he got taken out early, he had 14 strikeouts, had 102 pitches. In the 8th inning, he threw 101 miles per hour in that start. 17th perfect inning in a row, and he capped it off with a 101 mile per hour fastball. Retired 52 consecutive batters. That's an NPB record. And that went viral in America. Everyone saw that. This kid is 20 years old, and he just pitched the best game in baseball history. This guy's going to come to America and be a beast, right? A year later, he goes to WBC. Americans, we see him again. He's throwing 103, dominating people. And then kind of sets in stone. Like, this he's pitching with Yamamoto, Shohei, and Roki are the big three. Like, this guy's next up, right? And then this next time we heard about Roki, which was this offseason when this free agent, would you say Roki, what would you rank him in free agent signings this year, as in like impact signings?
I'd put him right behind Soto.
So Soto, I got it right here. So Soto, Max Fried, Corbin Burns, Snell. But like, I mean, Roki, from attention from like the media, like that was definitely behind Soto. I would say second. I mean, I wouldn't put him in front of Max Fried and Corbin Burns in terms of like value for a team.
But you also have to consider he's a big Japanese player.
Mm-hmm.
You have the Ohtani effect.
Yeah.
You're going to have Roki have like a fraction of that, but it's still going to be big. You're going to draw in a bunch of viewers. People are going to tune in just for Roki.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, like, I think that, well, definitely, the Dodgers signing Roki Sasaki got more attention than the Yankees signing Max Fried, and definitely more attention than the Diamondbacks signing Corbin Burns. So right there, the expectation is, at 23 years old, you're supposed to be as good, if not better, than Max Fried and Corbin Burns, who have been, let's just say, pretty freaking good over their career, all right? But the reality is with Roki is that this guy is definitely shaky at best when it comes to injuries. All right, like we got this broken down here for you. In high school, this is just in high school. Like in Japan, this guy has been known since he was a high schooler as a guy who gets hurt. Like this guy pitching for his high school team, they were 1 game away from going to the Koshin. If you don't know, this is the biggest tournament, period, not just baseball, in Japan. Everyone watches it. The entire country watches high school baseball. It's a fucking massive deal. Like these pitchers will throw 400 pitches in a weekend to get to this final. Like it is a massive deal. All right. And his team was 1 game away from going to the Koshin for the first time in 35 years. And his manager said, nope, we're not risking it. Roki, you cannot pitch in the final game because they were worried about injuries. And this was as a 17-year-old, they were worried about injuries. He signs NPB. He gets injured in his first year at NPB. Well, before we get to that, let's just break down. Apparently, when he sat out that final game, the high school got 250 complaints in 2 days because this kid in high school didn't pitch the finals because the coach thought it was good for his health. The high school got 250 complaints, hate letters, being like, you're a pussy, Roki Sasaki, for not pitching. How could you let this happen? That just tells you the intensity of Japan.
I mean, you got guys like Tanaka, like 10 years earlier, throwing 300 pitches. The game is tied, and then the next day they send him right back out. That's what Japanese fans expect out of their high schoolers.
It's a different world. I mean, if you had a high school pitcher do that, like if you had a high school pitcher throw 400 pitches in 2 days, like the coach can get arrested, legitimately would get sued by the parents. But in Japan, that's normal. So this guy, he stops for his health, goes to NPB at 18. He sprains his muscle in his right arm, and before he ever pitches, right? And I guess they're saying it's a sprain, but it was recommended that Roki should get Tommy John back then. Like at 18 years old, Roki Sasaki was debating getting Tommy John, decided not to get Tommy John. So that's already on the table. Everyone knows this guy should get Tommy John, got a second opinion. Maybe you don't need it. He decided not to get it. And he skipped the whole season, then came back at 19 years old and was dominant in Japan. And then you saw him throw the perfect games and all that shit. And to us, we think, oh, Roki Sasaki's the best pitcher in Japan. In reality, he's been hurt every single year, right? In 2023, oblique injury. 2024, arm discomfort. So in every single season of his Japanese career, he's been injured. All right, let's look at his innings. Like his first season, he threw 83 innings. His second season, which is his best season, 130 innings. That's the most innings he's thrown in a year, 130, 129, which is, to put in perspective, would you even qualify as a major league pitcher? 129 innings?
For a major league pitcher, you need 162.
Okay, so he wouldn't even qualify. It was, I guess, 60% of a season. Then he came back through 91 innings. Then his last season, 111 innings. So this guy has been hurt. All right, he throws fucking gas. He throws 103, or he threw 103. But, I mean, the injuries is scary.
I mean, even when he signed with the Dodgers, the thing that he said convinced him is that the Dodgers showed him a PowerPoint, and they're like, this is why you're losing velocity. It's not the injuries. You're not injured. It's this. And I think he liked to hear that he wasn't actually injured. It's something else.
You're not actually injured. Everyone in the country of Japan thinks you're injured. Like, where's this quote? When he left Japan to come to America this season, his manager said, quote, I'm relieved that he left without any serious injuries. Like, when does that ever happen? Any pitcher? Like, I'm just glad he didn't get hurt. Seriously. It's like, you don't even think about that, but like, yo, Roki Sasaki, like, thank God he didn't get fucking hurt. He got hurt every year. He got hurt every year, dude. Like, so not only that is the big question. I think people need to, get their expectations in check. He's definitely a candidate for Tommy John. I'd be surprised if he doesn't get it. But by the time his Dodgers career is over, the next 5 years.
I mean, even this year, if mid-May you get an article that pops up and says Sasaki injured, it's not gonna shock me.
No. I mean, even the thing is, he's only throwing the most innings he ever threw in a season was 129. Like, the Dodgers right now already know, like, dude, you're not going to throw more than 150. Best case scenario. Like, we're not risking it. You're already a massive injury risk. We got 9 starters. Who cares? Like, we're not going to push this guy or anything. And if he keeps continuing like this, I mean, when I hear that, like, in 2019, he was told he needed Tommy John and didn't get Tommy John. Like, that's fucking crazy. Like, so he could just get Tommy John tomorrow. Like, I mean, he's eligible for it. He's been told he needs it.
I think it's like Garrett Cole last year. Garrett Cole, elbow issue. He goes, sees a doctor. They say Tommy John. He gets a second opinion. He pitches through the year. This spring, you can't outrun the Tommy John surgery.
Yeah. Seems like the Tommy John is coming eventually, which is fucking seems fucked up and dirty to say. Like, so mean. Like, this guy's getting Tommy John. But it's not just that. It's really his walk percentage. He's walking everyone. In Japan, he wasn't a guy who walked a lot of guys.
No, he was walking like 6% of the batters he faced.
So in Japan, he had a 5.7 walk rate. So far in America, there's a 34.6% walk rate. I would to me, that seems kind of like nerves, though. Like, I think Sasaki, kind of how we saw Yamamoto last year when he pitched that first game and totally blew up. Like, they probably putting a lot of pressure on yourself. You have to be perfect because these expectations that we've set on him in America are fucking insanely high and not really, I would say, fair.
So I'm looking up Barry Bonds' highest walk rate when he was walking like every at bat. His highest career walk rate was 37.6%, which is really close to what Sasaki's doing. Sasaki is walking batters as if they're Barry Bonds in 2004.
He's pitching a bunch of Barry Bonds. You got to be careful around these guys. I mean, he has the sickest shit you can have. I mean, also his fastball's dropped. What was his fastball last outing?
So his average velo this most recent start was 96.1. The start before that was 98. And 98. As Joey was saying, he was throwing 103 in the World Baseball Classic just 2 years ago.
Yeah, when everyone saw him throwing 98, 99, getting up there, we're like, oh shit. Like, we were concerned about his velocity in spring training because I think he was closer around 96. But in that first game, he was hopping up to 99. We're like, well, he probably was taking it easy in spring training. Second start, he's back to 96. And this is a guy who a year and a half ago was throwing 103. Now he's at 96. So, I mean, like I said, early in the season, do you want to fucking overreact over 2 starts? No. But I think for a guy like Roki, with all the questions, I think it's not an overreaction to say that there's definitely concerns. Like, the stuff is there. Like, he's fucking nasty. The splitter is nasty. I've heard the fastball's not as nasty as it used to be, but he's got 6 pitches. He's nasty. We've seen him be nasty. He's so nasty. But if you walk 37% of the batters, it's not good. And if you're the Dodgers and you have 9 starters and Roki Sasaki's not figuring it out by June, you might just say, hey, buddy, just get Tommy John now, dog. No one's going to care, dude. We'll miss you for 12 months. We'll see you in 12 months. You'll be back better. Like, it's kind of like, if he does great, let's hold off on Tommy John. If he starts struggling, even if it's not a real injury issue, let's just play it safe. Let's get you TJ. We have him. He's under team control for 6 years, right? 7 years?
6 years, yeah.
7 years.
And they're paying him $760,000 this year.
Nothing. So, yeah, I'd say I'm worried about Sasaki. Not that I'm worried about him like that. Even worst case scenario, he sucks for 2 months. He gets Tommy John. He's out for a year. I think even then, he's 23 years old. And you know his shit's nasty. He can come back and be insane. So I'm not worried about his career, but this season,
I think he's pitching scared. I think he knows his arm is not in shape. He's terrified of it being the full tear. I think he just needs that brace surgery now.
Yeah.
Skip the Tommy John, just get the internal brace surgery, come back in 12 months and pitch without fear.
Yeah, how could you not be scared? You get hurt every year. High school's getting complaints. I don't get injured. Well, we're wishing Roki the best. He could make us eat our words. I wouldn't be surprised if he throws a fucking no-hitter next outing.
I mean, I last week, or this last episode, I was like, man, the Dodgers need to put Mookie on the IL. He's going to be terrible for whatever, and that's already over, forgotten, whatever.
Yeah. And we saw, Yamamoto did the same thing. Shit the bed first outing. I guess it was just one outing, but came back, had an amazing season. So we'll see. Well, that wraps it up. We got to move on to a more important series, a series that I would say kind of really caught the imagination of baseball fans. Like, MLB did a great job in this rollout, like giving us like marquee matchups to start. We saw the Braves versus the Padres, like 2 amazing teams, evenly matched, like 90+ win projections going head to head. Let's send the Dodgers to Japan to face the Cubs. Let's see, first week of the season, you see the best teams. And then they sprinkle in some more good shit. They gave us Angels versus the White Sox. 2 of the most storied franchises ever. As you know, the White Sox lost the most games in history last season. Broke a record. That's history. And the Angels, well, the Angels had the two greatest players of all time and still never made the playoffs. So these are two franchises that are the lowest of the low. I would say both the Angels and the White Sox were hoping for a bounce back year. What do you think, Mitch?
I think it was just a matter of who was gonna not lose.
So they faced them off first weekend of the series. Let's just put the two worst teams, not the two worst teams, but like kind of the two most embarrassing franchises. No, because the Athletics, get rid of the Athletics and the Rockies. These are the two most embarrassing franchises going right now. And it did not disappoint. First game of the series, first game of the year, White Sox versus Angels. It was in Chicago, right? Wasn't a sellout?
Not even close.
No, they did not sell. What was the attendance on that one?
I think somehow they got 30,000, but
30K?
But that's still 10,000 White Sox fans said, "Nah, I'm good."
All right, so 30K as a 70% full. It's cold in Chicago, opening day and during a work week. 70% full. All right, so first game, White Sox versus Angels. Actually, the White Sox the Angels lost to the White Sox. Worst team in history, right? And the Angels, we know where the Angels are. They banned phones in the clubhouse. Let's revamp it. We know we don't have Rendon now. We can be good this year. We got Mike Trout. We're going to put him in the outfield. We're not going to have him in the outfield. We're going to put him in right field. Mike Trout can focus on hitting. We can have a bounce back. A lot of young guys on this team. We can be good. All right, first game of the season, they lose so bad to the worst team in baseball history. They pitch a position player. What was the final score of that?
8-1.
8-1. See, that's not even that bad. But they had a position player out there. And if you watch this game, it's funny. The first fucking inning of the game, Mike Trout comes up for his first at bat, dude. And this guy just gets nailed in the hand immediately, dude. And it's just like, fuck, here we go again. Thank God Mike Trout's okay for all we know. He played the rest of the series, didn't miss any time, but he gets nailed in the hand. They also pitched a guy who never pitched a single professional inning, Mitchell, right?
Yeah, drafted last year, didn't pitch in the minors at all. The Angels said, the best spot for you to develop is facing the White Sox.
Yeah, right? So they drafted a guy last year. Do you know what round he was?
A second round.
Second round. Wasn't even a first round guy. They said, dude, you're so good, man. We don't even need you in the minors. Or we're so bad, we need you in the fucking majors. We do not want to give you one inning in the minors. Come up and face the White Sox. It's basically a AAA team anyway. He comes into that game. What happened to him?
Pitched a scoreless debut inning. Then the Angels were like, go back out there. Allowed 5 runs, 2 homers to the White Sox.
Yeah. So 5 runs in 2 innings to the White Sox out of the pen. Not a good start for your first professional game, but also that's crazy. I mean, come out of college. Yeah, opening day. You're on the fucking mound. 5 runs. All right. Have a good career. So the Angels lose game 1. But don't worry. We got another one tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. So game 2 was a pitcher's duel. This game ends 1-0. 1-0, the Angels win this game. And their only offense was a Juan Moncada infield single to get them the win. A sloppy game, but Juan Moncada came back. Juan Moncada is what would you call him? He's a
former White Sox.
He's a former revenge game. I'm going to make you pay. You let me go. Guess what? I'm going to hit a dribbler down the line and make you fucking pay. We win. He's a project. He used to be a former number 1 prospect now. Had a great time, so the Angels picked him up, and it's worked out. He got an infield single to win the game. And then game 3 happens. Starts raining, and they couldn't even keep the tarp on the field. There's literally a tarp on the field. They can't get it out. Not only is there not a lot of people in the stands, the tarp doesn't work. And I'm assuming this led to a longer delay than it needed to be. But they slowed the game down, but they ended up playing it, and the Angels won. So give it up for the fucking Los Angeles Angels. They get a lot of shit, but guess what? They're 2-1. That's better than a lot of teams, right? The Angels are looking good to start the season. I would say it's a win that no one got hurt. I guess Joe Adell got hurt, apparently.
Joe Adell got hurt again, so that's 1 injury for the White Sox. But let's say if the White Sox lose 1 injured player per series this year, that's still probably a better pace than they have been the past few years. Mike Trout is not injured, so that's a win for the fucking Angels. They're still not using the phones in the dugout.
You can't use the phone in the dugout. They're not using phones in the clubhouse.
Unless you're that one dude from the Pirates.
Yes, he did. He did do that. So, what happened to that guy? Where's he at? You don't know?
Was he the guy who was banned for betting?
Oh yeah, that's a funny story. Who's that guy who was sliding to third base and his iPhone came out of his back pocket? I don't know. Oh yeah, look him up. Oh shit, he got banned for gambling on baseball. Dude had the fucking DraftKings app out on second base, slid into third, couldn't even get his live bet in. That's bullshit. Well, we're wishing him the best. But honestly, I'm high on the Angels. Not that I'm high on the Angels, but there's no team I would like to see surprise people more than the fucking Los Angeles Angels, because they're basically the former Braves team. Every player who didn't work out for the Braves is now on the Angels, other than Ron Washington, their manager, who was the best coach the Braves ever had. He got the job. And EY, our first base coach or third base coach?
He was the Braves' first base coach. He's the Angels' third base coach.
So they got our first base coach and our third base coach. Who else do they have from the Braves right now?
So Bo Porter used to be the Braves' third base coach. He's now, I think, the first base coach on the Angels.
So they have two of our third base coaches, one of our first base coaches.
They have Sal Fasano, who was the catching coach last year for the Braves.
They got our catching coach.
They had Ryan Goins, who was on the Braves, but not really, a couple of years ago. He's now a coach.
There you go, Ryan Goins. Thank you.
And then they have 5 former Braves on the active roster.
Okay, Nicky Lopez, who spent some time on the Braves. Ron Washington, you liked his makeup. You're a free agent. You're coming to my team. We're changing the culture. Jorge Soler, you hit a home run, win us the World Series. Ron Washington, really liked that. You're coming and you're playing for me now. You're a free agent. We want you on the Angels. Travis d'Arnaud, great guy, great leader, great catcher. Ron Washington, love that guy. Free agent, we need him on our team. Kenley Jensen, former Brave, free agent. We need Kenley Jensen. He used to be a Brave. Now he's a fucking Angel. And Ian Anderson, arguably the greatest postseason pitcher of all time, but kind of had a Roki Sasaki, couldn't throw a strike, had a lot of injuries, was a minor leaguer last year. Braves traded him to the Angels. So the Angels are just every player who was good to not so good, was good at one point, started being bad for the Braves. We moved on, are now on the Angels, including the GM, who I didn't realize was a GM for the Braves.
So he was the assistant GM for the Braves, Perry Minasian. He goes to the Angels, and ever since then, he's made 10 trades with the Braves in the last 2 years.
So the Angels, so far, the Angels' strategy has been, let's just take every single player from the Braves that we can to try to...
It's all Perry knows.
That's all he knows.
He's under pressure of being a good GM. He can't figure out where to find good players, but he remembers the Braves scouting department. He's got all of the numbers. So the only guys he's going for are guys that he was working with in the Braves organization.
God bless the Los Angeles Angels. If you haven't been following, they have one of the just non-2025 type decisions made in the clubhouse, where they've made the decision to take out cell phones in the clubhouse. If you're an Angels player and you're on your phone in the clubhouse, it's back to 7th grade, dude. Like
$500 fine.
$500. Is it really?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. $500. Well, I mean, middle school, that wasn't the problem, but I remember middle school getting caught going on, playing some games on my phone, and you get that taken away. That it's in the office and your mom has to come and you have to pick it up. Like, that's what the Angels are dealing with right now. They're back in fucking 7th period trying to win some ball games. Yeah, they banned phones in the clubhouse. I saw an interview though with Logan O'Hoppe, and he was saying like, dude, this was a player's decision. Like, we all like it. And if you're on your phone using it, it's not really that big of a deal. It's just kind of something that we wanted to do as a team. And it wasn't like a Ron Washington old dude being like, yeah, you kids need to get off your phones. You're addicted to Twitter, X.
You sure that Washington doesn't have a $1,000 fine for saying anything bad about the rule?
No, does he?
Probably not, but who knows?
What is that from?
That's just like, what? Why would O'Hoppe be saying positive things about it?
Yeah,
unless he was afraid of that bigger fine.
What are you gonna say? What are you gonna get on the interview and be like? Yeah, they say we can't use our phones. It's bullshit.
Not everyone's Rafael Devers and is strong enough, brave enough to say, I don't agree with that decision.
It's one of those things where it's like anything the Angels implement is gonna be looked on as like the stupidest, dumbest shit ever. Like if the Dodgers came out and was like, we're not using phones in the clubhouse, and Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman did an interview where like, we love this rule, everyone will be like, damn, this Dodgers are just different. The culture's different in there. But it's the Angels, so fuck them. They're fucking stupid. So but I mean, they deserve it. They've been stupid for how many years now? All the guys they've signed and didn't work.
Like 2000, started with Pujols, 2012.
Josh Hamilton was before Pujols, wasn't he?
Weren't they the same?
Same year. Yeah, so you sign Pujols, you sign Hamilton, that doesn't work out. You sign 20 guys after that. You have Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout on the same team. You don't win a game, but you're 2-1 and you beat the White Sox twice.
I think the phone rule could turn around their whole season.
Shit, man. These kids are on social media.
They could win the World Series, though, and we'd still be like, oh, that rule was stupid.
I want to go to an Angels game, get press passes, get on the field, and just go to the players, show me your screen time. Show me your fucking screen time, Mike Trout. You don't use your phone in the clubhouse? Let me see your screen time. And I see what apps he's on and his websites. Get to the bottom of it. I actually want to do an audit with all MLB teams. Like, we should do a study. Like, let's see, like, is there a correlation? Like, teams with high screen time do worse than teams with low screen time. Something to look into.
I mean, does that count their iPad time when they're going through all of the analytics?
Studying is all. That's the excuse they make. I'm researching, coach. Like, bro, you're on Doodle Jump. Shut the fuck up. You know the guy gonna throw a fucking slider or whatever it is. But God bless the Los Angeles Angels. Where are we at on time? I feel like we got some more time to. That was everything we had on the docket per se, but we can cover some more teams. Any storylines? Oh, there was a funny clip of our boy Wilson Contreras literally eating his bat. Like, we've seen players lick their bat. That's been going on occasionally throughout the years, but this is the first time we've seen a guy eat his bat. Another victim of the pitch clock. Thank you, man fraud. If you didn't pick up on this, Wilson Contreras, catcher for the St. Louis Cardinals, who I might add, has had an amazing start to the season. Everyone was low on the Cardinals going in. We got rid of old Goldschmidt, Arenado. We couldn't trade him. That's a disaster. What did Arenado do? Hit a home run on opening day. You got anything else on Arenado? Was that the only hit he had? I don't know. But they're 3-0. And in a game against I don't know who they were playing, but Wilson Contreras goes up there. He's got 2 strikes on him. He already used a timeout. Per the new pitch clock rules, you cannot call multiple timeouts. There's a little piece of his bat, little jiggling around, wasn't comfortable. So instead of just ripping it off his bat and throwing it, he didn't have time for that. He takes a big fucking bite of it like it's a deep dish pizza. And I think swallows it.
I mean, there's no evidence of it.
There's no evidence. I mean, the clip is hilarious where it just cuts away. The guy just fucking chows down. 1 bite challenge is a fucking batting tape and then just goes in the box and strikes out immediately.
The big quote from that was, tasted bad.
Yeah, tasted bad. Wilson, like, the clip made it seem like this guy just has been eating tape off his bat his whole life. Like, this is something he fucking does. In reality, they did an interview. He said, no, it was my first time and my last time. I will not be chewing the bat tape any longer. But shout out to the St. Louis Cardinals starting the season off hot.
Listen, no, Mike Tyson used to eat his glove, dude. Maybe he's just got that dog in him.
Well, Wilson definitely has that dog in him. Contreras is a fucking guy. He likes to beef with people. I mean, maybe that was part of what he was looking for, an intimidation tactic. Because Wilson is really big on getting guys' face, sticking up for his guys, getting in fights. But you don't want to fight a guy who eats tape, literally eats tape. Other teams who caught my eye in the first 4 days of the season.
The D-backs.
The D-backs? What do you got on the D-backs?
You have Eugenio Suarez, who is basically Barry Bonds / Aaron Judge. He also has 4 homers.
4 home runs?
Today, they decided, the best strategy to come back from a deficit is we remove the DH. We don't need the DH anymore. They were down by a couple of runs. They go through the lineup. The pitcher spot comes up. They go, let's hit. Let's use a pitcher to hit. He gets an RBI single. The D-backs win the game. So maybe they don't need the DH.
Dude, snake's alive. Bring him back. Pitchers hitting. I like that. Honestly, the D-backs, and we didn't talk about them in the preview episode, which was, a disservice because they are underrated, like, really good team, I think. Like, their pitching staff, on paper at least, is looking pretty fucking nasty. Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, the Brandon Pfaadt, World Series legend, Eduardo Rodriguez, who's coming back this year. That is going to be a big question mark. what Eduardo Rodriguez are they going to get? Because as I was saying, like you go into the first week of the season, I mean, wins and losses are great. They all count the same, but you really want to hang your hat on more like individual performances of guys who you're kind of questioning into the season. If you get a guy like Eduardo Rodriguez to come out and throw like 6 scoreless innings and he looks just as nasty as he did in his last full season, which was 2023 when he was with the with the Tigers. He didn't want to go to LA, which was weird. Didn't want to play on the West Coast. This guy's playing in Detroit. I mean, I spent a little time in Detroit. I mean, you're from Michigan, right?
I mean, I lived there for 6 years. Michigan summers, they're really nice.
Yeah, apparently Detroit is the dog shit city that no one wants to go to or live in, I've heard. And they have no industry because all the cars are made in other countries now, and no one wants to be there. And he was there. He did live there full time.
They said, we're trading you to LA, and he said, God, no, please let me stay.
He was on one of the worst teams in the league at the time. 2 years ago, the Tigers, he had an amazing season. Like, we got an opportunity. We'll move you to Los Angeles and be on one of the best teams. He said, nah, I don't really want to go to LA. I don't really like being on the West Coast. Stays in Detroit. Then that offseason signs with the Diamondbacks, which last time I checked, Arizona is West Coast.
Doesn't touch the coast. You know, that was the deal breaker.
Yeah, well, he's in Arizona now, but he was hurt last year, didn't pitch at all. Now he's pitching again. I guess he hasn't made a start yet.
No, but you know who the D-backs are not getting a single inning from this year?
Who?
Jordan Montgomery.
Jordan Montgomery. He's on the mend with TJ, right?
It was quite a saga. The off-season starts, the owner says, mistake signing this guy. He's still on the team.
Your own owner's like, we should have never signed this fucking guy.
Horrible mistake.
Interview. Like, yeah, dude, we know there was a stupid decision to sign me. I have a 12 ERA and you gave me like $60 million. But you don't have to say it out loud, dickhead.
So naturally, you're expecting the D-backs to trade this guy because you cannot have a guy show up in the clubhouse after the owner disses you. They don't. He shows up. He gets moved to the bullpen because his spring training was so bad that they're like, we've paid you all of this money. We're giving you a second shot, and you're still not good enough for the rotation. The day before they break camp, he goes, yeah, I'm getting TJ.
Damn. So you think that was in protest? Like, I ain't pitching you guys. I'm getting Tommy. I'd rather get Tommy John than pitch for you fucking idiots. I'd rather get Tommy John than pitch for the Snakes. I guess, I mean, there wouldn't be room for him, and he'd be in the bullpen. Because I don't know, why hasn't Corbin Burns pitched yet?
I have no idea. I just saw that he'd been pushed back.
Yeah, must be some injuries. Got to ramp up. I mean, Corbin Burns is definitely a big question mark. Not a big question mark. I hate to say that. I think every pitcher's a question mark nowadays with the injuries. But, I mean, Corbin Burns over the past, 5-6 years has been, I don't have the stats, but I'd say if you did a look up past 6 years, he's got to be a top 5 pitcher. He's been the most reliable pitcher. One of the most reliable pitchers in baseball over the past 6 years. If you snapshot it, there's really no one you would rather have or feel better. What am I trying to say? Like, reliable.
If you have a pitcher that you need to take the hill, Corbin Burns is in a top 10.
Well, it's like you're going like someone like Crochet last year for the White Sox who had an insane season, but it was his only good season, right? He had like a 2 ERA, but that was his first season. Like Corbin Burns has had an ERA under 3 or at 3 for like 6 seasons in a row. So, he got paid a shit ton of money to go to the Diamondbacks. But if you look deeper into his stats, you look at in 2020, he had a 13 K per 9. The next year, his K per 9 is still very good. 12 Ks per 9 in 2021. Beast. 2022, you know what? He had a great year in 2022, but his K per 9 went down. Now he's only striking out 10 batters per 9 innings. So each year it's going down. Then in 2023 goes down again. Still has a good year, but if you look at the deeper stats, he's striking out less guys. He's giving up a little extra runs. And he goes to the Orioles last year is insane for the first half, but kind of teeters out towards the end. At the end, but last year he ended the season with a 2.9 ERA, like one of the best pitchers in the league. However, if you look at his K per 9, we're getting real stat dorky for some of you guys, but strikeouts per 9 was only at 8. So he went from having around a 13 strikeouts per game per 9 innings to having 8 strikeouts per 9 innings, which worries you long term. And now they're pushing him back, probably because of maybe some fatigue or injury returns or
I think
whatever.
it's ramping up. But yeah, so his strikeout rate, his best year, full season 2021, 35.6%.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Last year was 23.1%. So now you have 12.5% of the batters that he's facing are now not striking out.
Yeah, so he's striking out less guys. We'll see what he does. I mean, a lot of pitchers, like when they get older, they don't strike out as many guys, but they're still amazing. Like you got a lot of examples like that. But he's only 29 years old, and to see that steep drop off, have some questions. Granted, he had a 2.9 ERA last year and signed a massive deal. It's just you're expecting him to be an ace, and we'll see it. Yeah, the fucking Diamondbacks. Corbin Carroll, Marte.
Corbin Carroll changed his batting stance. He's now holding his bat more upright, and he had like a 116 exit velocity in the first game, which was like 6 miles faster than his previous one. He might be back to the MVP levels that we thought he was going to be last year.
It's crazy. It's like they just get blown over because, they're the Diamondbacks, small market team, not a huge history, a young team, and they're in the NL West with the Dodgers and Padres, so you're not really getting a lot of attention for the Diamondbacks. But if you put this team in the American League, I mean,
if they were in the American League, we'd be talking like, are they the best team?
Yeah, they're up
baseball.
there. Like they're up there with the Rangers, the Red Sox, the Mariners even. The Mariners are one of the best teams in baseball. No? You have questions about the Mariners? The Mariners, I was watching the Mariners last night, late night, dude, on my fucking iPad like a little baby, dude. I was on the iPad in the fucking wilderness at the cabin, dude, at the fucking Shorty's cabin late night by myself watching fucking good old Mariners Athletics baseball. And the Mariners through like 3 games didn't get a single run against the Athletics starters. And the Athletics are definitely a better team, but you really should score a run against the starters.
They're playing at home. Hitters can't hit.
That's
at T-Mobile.
Yeah, if you don't know, the T-Mobile Park where the Mariners play literally is sideways. According to some people, they literally have a theory that the mound is crooked, and hitters historically will go there and just suck.
Teoscar Hernandez played there for 1 season. He said, "Never again. I'm done."
Nope. Yeah, I mean, I was watching it was funny how they were putting up, like, they brought in some guy in the Athletics and the announcers, and these are the Mariners announcers, so they're gassing him up, but like, yeah, he's coming in for his first start or his first appearance ever, and who do you got to face? You got to face Victor Robles, Julio Rodriguez, and then Cal Raleigh. It's like only one of those players is really good, like threatening.
Hey, don't hate on the big dumper. He just signed a big contract.
Respect to the big dumper. When a catcher can hit a little bit, he gets a lot of money. So Cal Raleigh, you did it. Randy Rosarena, he's a great hitter. But he had that same problem last year. When he came to the Mariners, he did not hit well, if I'm not mistaken. I think he didn't hit well all year last year.
It's a weird season. I truly buy into that conspiracy, though, that T-Mobile, you just can't hit there.
Yeah, apparently it's the batter's eye is the issue that a lot of batters say. It's an indoor stadium. They got a weird batter's eye. You can't see. You can't hit. Get him some fucking torpedo bats. Why not? You know what we should cover now?
It's not always about the money, Spider-Man. It's about the Mets, baby. Love the Mets. All right, baby, let's go. Get a home run, baby. Love the Mets. Let's go, Mets.
I love the Mets. And I love Juan Soto. He hit a home run. And the Mets went, Mitchell?
2-1.
2-1. And that's they're 1-2.
1-2.
1-2. I love. No one can beat the Marlins. The Marlins are atop. We're not actually going to talk about the Mets.
No one's having more fun than the Marlins, though.
Yeah. Well, how did the Marlins get it? Do you know? Do you know how they did it? Can you name 3 players in the Marlins? I mean, surely after going 3-1.
Griffin Conine.
Surely after
homered on his dad's Marlins Hall of Fame thing.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. I mean, that's Mr. Marlin. That's Mr. Marlin. Mr. Marlin Jr. homering on Mr. Marlin's birthday. Or Marlin.
It's a Hall of Fame. Marlins Hall of Fame inauguration, which if he wasn't already in it, I don't understand. It must be new because he should be the only player in it.
Yeah, who else in the Marlins deserves the Hall of Fame? I mean, like, literally, they haven't had a player play more than, like, 6 seasons, right? Like, isn't Giancarlo Stanton still like leads every record for the Marlins?
I think if you go to Baseball Reference, he's their top player.
Yeah. And how many years did he play for the Marlins?
He played just in time to play for the Florida Marlins, and then he was traded after 2017.
Mike Stanton. Throw back to Mike Stanton. I remember Mike Stanton going up. Young Mike Stanton hits the scene. But yeah, actually, we forgot to talk about that. Actually, going back to the torpedo bats, this is actually an interesting tidbit that we totally passed over, which is definitely part of the conversation that no one's talking about. Apparently, there's rumors that the torpedo bats already grabbed a soul and ended someone's career.
Yeah, I mean, it's risky. You move the barrel down the bat, and suddenly your elbows stop working.
Yeah, your elbows just break. So Giancarlo Stanton, and I always say his name wrong, so fucking deal with it. Giancarlo Stanton. He gets tennis elbow in both elbows this season. He's not going to be able to play, and I think he's out for a while. Is there a timetable for his return? Because you'd think tennis elbow, you put some ice on it and you're good to go. But when you have 2 tennis elbows, that's a lot of ice.
The quote for Stanton is, "There's still no timeline, but it's not in the near term."
So that sounds bad for Stanton. It makes you wonder, maybe it's more than just his tennis elbows. But but when that came out originally this offseason, he made a comment saying that he believes that the reason why he was injured was partially because of some bat adjustments he made. Right? So I wish I had the exact quote. Could you find the exact quote? But he essentially made it vague. I was making adjustments with my bat. And no one thought anything of it at the time. It was like, okay, like, what does that mean? Doesn't really matter. No one cares. A few months later, everyone's talking about the torpedo bats. Everyone on the Yankees apparently has been making a lot of adjustments with their bats. They're studying all the Yankees, how they swing, where they hit the ball, giving them new bats. They give them the torpedo bats. This is a big thing in the Yankees organization. You tie 2 and 2 together. You go back to Stanton. When he said, I got injured from bat adjustments, maybe that bat adjustment was this MIT guy giving him a torpedo bat, and the torpedo bat literally killing him. I mean, they call it a torpedo bat for a reason. That shit's dangerous. All right, so the specific quote that Stanton said is that it was probably some bat adjustments. And they asked the MIT scientists who designed this bat, specifically, do you have any information? Do you know about this Stanton thing? And he said, quote, you'd have to ask the Yankees medical personnel about that. I'll defer all those questions to the Yankees medical guys. Which is a pretty non-comment. I would say that's a little suspicious.
Do you think in their trials, their minor league players, their arms just kept falling off, but the Yankees were like, the extra 4 miles an hour on the exit velo is too good. We got to keep pushing through.
Well, Stanton's just too. No, I mean, I think Stanton's gets injured doing anything. He gets injured every time he swings a bat. But if you give him the torpedo bat, the most dangerous bat in the world, to the strongest, most powerful man on fucking earth, who's a little fragile, I can see that bat breaking down the elbows,
ripping those tendons.
I mean, fuck.
It's not exactly a good control group yet. Is he the first injury with the torpedo bat?
Well, I would say so far, yes, but we don't. Yeah, I mean, if this comes out that the torpedo bat really what did it with Stanton, and he can never play again because he gave him the most dangerous bat on earth, the most illegal, dangerous torpedo bat ever. I mean, that honestly makes the bat better, more sick.
In 3 years, the baseball doesn't exist. The bat that killed people.
The bat that killed baseball. The torpedo bat. No one watches this shit anymore. Everyone's just a home run every time. Stanton is in a wheelchair. Like, Stanton can never walk again because of this torpedo bat. I think Stanton really does think there's a good chance the torpedo bat is what hurt him. And this guy does not want to comment on that. So, yeah, the torpedo bat will be a storyline to watch for the rest of the year. And there is a lot of good storylines. But I think that's all the storylines for today. Anyone else want to wrap anything up over here?
If Freddie Freeman homers against the Braves in the next 3 days, I might not be here on Thursday.
Yeah, I'm dreading that series so much.
I'm expecting at least 3 homers from Freeman. Just fuck you, homers.
Yeah, it's always tough to watch the Braves versus the Dodgers because, like, I don't root for the Dodgers, but I do root for Shohei Ohtani every time he hits. I can't help it. And when he plays the Braves, it's just like, I don't know what to fucking feel. It's just fucking hard. It's hard. You love two things so much, and then they go against each other, and you're like, fuck. But for the next 3 days, fuck Shohei Ohtani, fuck the Dodgers. We need a win more than anyone, dude. We need a win. I think it might be a 0-7 start for the Braves. But Jack, producer, any final thoughts, man?
All right, I know it's only episode 2. It's early on. I don't have a baseball team because I don't really follow baseball, but I do now. And I'd like to make a declaration. I'm pledging my honor and my loyalty to the Marlins.
You're cursed for 700 fucking years, dude.
But when you see the playoffs, it's going to be glorious.
Dude, you're not going to see the playoffs your entire life.
I'm calling it now, dude. The Marlins are going to the fucking
You're
playoffs.
from Tampa Bay, aren't you? You could like the Rays. I mean, the Rays are, they're playing a minor league stadium, but they're good.
They play in a training facility.
Yeah, that's a little small shit, dude. The real Florida boys like the fucking Marlins, bro. We're gonna fucking get Jack. We're getting Jack head to toe in Marlins gear by episode 6.
Tell him, dude, I need Marlins to support me. I need them to send me every bit of merch that they can spare.
I mean, they see this clip, they're like, bro, we got a fucking guy who likes us. We
need to send Jack to the all-you-can-eat seats in Marlins Park. And if he makes it out alive, then he gets a...
You ever been to a game? You never been to a game in Miami, right?
No, I've been to a lot of Rays games.
No, but it's cool. They got strippers, they got bars. It's real Miami, dude. They used to have fish tanks in there. They got rid of those. They used to have a big fucking home run sculpture. Real Miami, man.
If I'm really good, will you take me to a Marlins game?
I have to, bro. Let's see how real this fandom is.
I mean, I'm a die-hard Marlins fan, bro.
You've committed to a life of Marlins fandom.
What do they call their fans? Marlitos?
What did they call the Marlins fans? Dude, I don't know. Suicidal, self-hating fucking people.
Don't talk about my fucking team like that, Joey.
Well, I'm excited to see your... So every time we have a question about the Marlins, we're going to Jack on that one. The newest Marlins fan in the crowd. Stay tuned to see how long he lasts before he says, fuck it, I like the Dodgers. Because I'm gonna assume in probably a couple weeks.
I mean, I'm an underdog guy.
Like the Marlins. All right, well, they're a fun little squad. But that's it for episode 2, guys. Thank you so much for coming. Love ya. See you next time.